Rakugo is a form of Japanese verbal entertainment. The lone storyteller sits on stage, called Kōza. Using only a paper fan and a small cloth as props, and without standing up from the seiza sitting position, the Rakugo artist depicts a long and complicated comical story. The story always involves the dialogue of two or more characters, the difference between the characters depicted only through change in pitch, tone, and a slight turn of the head. Lexical background: Rakugo was originally known as Kyukuki. The oldest appearance of the kanji which refers specifically to this type of performance dates back to 1787, but at the time the characters themselves were normally read as Otashibanashi. In the middle of the Meiji period the expression Rakugo first started being used, and it came into common usage only in the Showa period. Description: the speaker is in the middle of the audience, and his purpose is to stimulate the general hilarity with tone and limited, yet specific body gestures. The monologue always ends with a narrative stunt known as a kai or sage, consisting of a sudden interruption of the wordplay flow. 12 kinds of ikai are codified and recognized, with more complex variations having evolved through time from the more basic forms. Early Rakugo has developed into various styles, including the Shibei Banashi, the Onyoku Banashi, the Keidan Banashi, and Ninja Banashi. In many of these forms the ikai, which is essential to the original Rakugo, is absent. Rakugo has been described as a sitcom with one person playing all the parts by Noriko Watanabe, assistant professor in the Department of Modern Languages and Comparative Literature at Baruch College. History: Rakugo was invented by Buddhist monks in the 9th and 10th century to make their sermons more interesting, and its written tradition can be traced back to the story collection Shōnen Monogatari. Gradually the form turned from humorous narrative into monologue, probably upon the request of the daimyo, feudal lords, seeking people skilled enough to entertain them with various kinds of storytelling. During the Edo period, thanks to the emergence of the merchant class of the kanin, the Rakugo spread to the lower classes. Many groups of performers were formed, and collections of texts were finally printed. During the 17th century the actors were known as hanashika, corresponding to the modern term, rakugoka. Before the advent of modern Rakugo there were the kobanashi, short comical vignettes ending with an ikai, popular between the 17th and the 19th century. These were enacted in small public venues, or in the streets, and printed and sold as pamphlets. The origin of kobanashi is to be found in the Kainawakaya no Monogatari, the work of an unknown author collecting approximately 230 stories describing the common class. Important contributors: many artists contributed to the development of Rakugo. Some were simply performers, but many also composed original works. Among the more famous rakugoka of the Tokugawa era were performers like Anraku Unsakuden, the author of the Seiswisha, a collection of more than 1,000 stories. In Edo there also lived Shikanobemon, who wrote the Shikanobemon Kudembanashi and the Shika no Maki feud, a work containing 39 stories, 11 of which are about the kabuki milieu. Tatekawa Emba was author of the Rakugo Rakuji. Kyoto was the home of Tsuya no Gurabu, whose works are included in the Karakuki Tsuyaga Hanashi, containing many word games, episodes from the lives of famous literary authors, and plays on the different dialects from the Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto areas. Of a similar structure is the Karakuki Guzen no Toko, in which are collected the stories of Yonizawa Heiko Hachi, who lived in Osaka towards the end of the 17th century. An example from Yonizawa Heiko Hachi's collection. A man faints in a bathing tub. In the great confusion following, a doctor arrives who takes his pulse and calmly gives the instructions: pull the plug and let the water out. Once the water has flowed completely out of the tub he says, "Fine. Now put a lid on it and carry the guy to the cemetery. For the poor man is already dead." The joke becomes clearer when one notes that a Japanese traditional bathing tub is shaped like a coffin. Current performers Current Rakugo artists include Tatekawa Danshi, Tachibana Enza, Katsura Bunchi, Tachibana Takeza, Tatekawa Shinosuke and Hayashiya Shaza. Furthermore, Many people regarded as more mainstream comedians originally trained as Rakugo apprentices, even adopting stage names given them by their masters. Some examples include Akashia Sanma, Shafukute Chirub, and Shafukute Shalari. Another famous Rakugo performer, Katsura Shijaku, is known outside Japan for his performances of Rakugo in English. Titles: Jujemu, The Cat's Plate, Yamamura, Kaji, Mount Head. Nominated for the Best Animated Short Oscar in 2003. Shibahama, Pacific Summary of Meguro I Hate Mournju, Botan da Ra. List of Rakugoka. Edo Karakute Black I Hayashia Sanpei I Hayashia Shaza 9, Kokunte Shincha Takawa Danchi, Tachibanai Enza Ruri Ayabafa, Kokunte Shincha Sanya Toyenka 5th Sanya Toyen Raku, 6th Sanya Toyen Raku, Katsura Yutemaru, Sanya Toi Kōza, Sanya Toi Karaku, Hayashia Kakua Syunpa Toi Shota, Hayashia Konpei, Hayashia Toyu, Ruri Ayasuzu Maru, Syunpa Toi Kawasa, Syunpa Toi Ryasha Yanagikosan, Sancha Toi Monosuk, Katsura Yonosuk, Ryatoi Shiraku, Yanagiko Zanji, Tatakawa Shinosuk, Tachibanaya Takeza. Kamigata Hayashia Somamaru 4, Katsura Bunchi 5, Katsura Bunchi 6, Katsura Baicha Katsura Bunchin, Shafukute Nikaku, Tsikate Kacha Katsura Harudanji, Tsikate Hapa Shafukute Matsunosuk, Shafukute Shakaku, Katsura Shijaku 2, Shafukute Chirub, Katsura Sunshine, Tsikate Hasei. See also, media related to Rakugo at Wikimedia Commons, Josh Raku, stand-up comedy, Manzai, Kaiargen, Xiongsheng. References. External links, English Rakugo website, YouTube Rakugo examples, Rakugo video SFGTV San Francisco, bilingual Kamigata Rakugo website, Katsura Sunshine's essay concerning the difference between Kamigata, Osaka, Rakugo and Edo, Tokyo, Rakugo, learning Japanese language and culture through Rakugo appreciation.